We go into another morning off the back of another weekend when Manchester United ended up losing. It's my understanding, Simon, that for the time being, Ruben Amorim retains the backing of the United board. I've just been sent a message on that one. Does that surprise you? Or do you think the clock's ticking?
No, I don't think that anybody going into this game would have expected Manchester United to have won it, because they're not in that place at this moment in time. Whilst Man City is still going for a rebuild, they are an infinitely better team than Man United are right now. So in isolation, I don't think you take him out of the job because he gets beat by Man City. You consider your position. I mean, we are now coming up to the point where the fella's been in situ for nearly a year, and it is staggering, really. I mean, I know that we'll talk about the idea that systems are being deployed are making the difference, and so I don't agree with that. I think perhaps the players that have been bought and the players that are out in the field aren't good enough to play in any bloody system. But also, to some extent, the manager has to take a huge amount of responsibility for sitting in a place where you've made things worse. Now, if he thinks things are getting better and he can see the changes and that eventually he's going to land on solid ground, then fair play to him and fair play to the board supporting him in that vision.
Yeah.
But these are hard moments for United, because if the fans are supporting Amorim, I'd like to know why. And not because I don't want him to be supported, but because in this world where people do not get supported, Russell Martin's walked into Glasgow Rangers, had 7 or 8 games, they want him out.
Yeah.
The United guys, he seems to be getting a pass.
Yes.
Goes past Co, collects 200 quid, goes round again.
Of course, more often than not, it's Amorim's system that comes into the conversation. His 3-4-2-1 system came in for more criticism following the defeat to City. And of course, he said that for the time being, at least, he won't budge. This was Amorim post-match.
Not a record that you should have in Manchester United. There are a lot of things that you have no idea what happened during these months, but I accept that. But I'm not going to change. When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man. So, and we will talk about that every game that we lose. I don't believe in that, in the system or whatever. I play my way, and I'm going to play my will until I want to change. I'm going to give everything. I will do everything, always thinking about what is best for the club. That was always the same message. And then it's not my decision, the rest. So until I'm here, I will do my best I really want to win games, so I'm suffering more than them.
You better believe he wants to win games. He's going to have to. Martin, when you look at it, his Premier League record, managed them at 31 games in the Premier League, won 8. I mean, what does it tell us? Is he opting to stay wedded to a failing philosophy?
Yeah, I think so. It's the worst start for Manchester United for 32 years. I just feel this system, and I just want to bring a bit of player context. So I've played in this system myself, and I have mentioned this in the past, playing in a back 4 system at Arsenal, playing with Bruce Rioch, who introduced a back 3 with 2 midfield players, and we were like scratching our head every week. It was problematic. So we would do walkthroughs on a Monday. Right, where am I going in this situation? There was so many questions. It was kind of like, you felt like statues on the pitch. Am I a fullback now? I'm the right side centre half. I've got to go running out to the fullback. Am I the fullback? Do I go all the way out, or do I stay in the middle? So many question marks. And these players, I think 2 things. The calibre of player is not good enough anymore at Manchester United. I think he stripped the club of anybody with any real individual talent. So Garnacho, Anthony, Sancho, all been allowed to leave. Rashford as well has that individual ability. Okay, we know it's lacking in his performances, but nonetheless, he's an individual. And the team system, it doesn't as if the players are really convinced by it. They don't look like they're believing in it. So massive question marks. And you can see in the results, they're just not up to speed, Jim. And it's only heading one direction right now. And I just feel, again, it's this stubbornness everyone talks about +1s in the modern game. Where can we outnumber the opposition? There's 2 midfield players outnumbered. Foden was magnificent yesterday, by the way, just to go on to that, but he was allowed the time and space to do that. He just he knew he was going to be able to take control. You've got to give players the platform, Jim, to go and be successful. Otherwise, you make them look like they were second best, and they were certainly second best yesterday.
I mean, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's sitting there watching it. And of course, he's hearing what we hear. He's seeing what we see.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Simon, how much longer? I know we've spoken about this before, but where are we at now? The 15th of September. Does he go into October with them?
Well, I don't think it's existentially problematic to lose to Man City. I don't think those are problematic. In the scheme of things, in the bragging rights in Manchester between Manchester City and Man United, yes, you're going to get some flack for it.
8 wins in 31. That's problematic.
Sure, but there was a backstory to last season, and the fact that he wanted to stamp his own authority on it, and he wanted to change direction, and he wasn't going to pivot and wasn't going to listen to the media. He was going to do what he wanted to do. So you take away those statistics and you look at what's happening now, which is his pre-season, his group of players, his changing culture, his outlook, right? And you say to yourself, well, okay, what have we had, what we see? What I see for problematic for him, I don't see if they're going to get beat next week or get Chelsea come to Man United and beat them next week, you're still going to get a pass because Chelsea are a better side right now. It's when you start playing Brentford and Sunderland and you can't overcome those teams that the noise will really start to ramp up. Of course, we're going to pull out the statistics and say, look what that 8 from 31 games is, an appalling record. And Ineos are looking at it from their own point of view. I don't know whether Jim Ratcliffe knows what he's doing. I certainly know that he knows what he's doing in business. I certainly know what he knows by taking his $3 billion worth of investment and taking it to the US rather than doing it in the UK because of the circumstances. I'm certainly knows that he knows what he's doing there. When it comes to the football side of things, with all due respect to him, he made a decision with Ten Hag which was absurd to keep them in situ and then give them a new contract, then take him out in October. You brought Amorim in, and ultimately you're seeing nothing from Amorim to give you any confidence. This is what I don't understand from the Man United fans. Have you fallen so low in your own expectations of yourself? Have you reached so far down into the bottom of your expectations of this football club that you're not able to say this isn't good enough? Because you seem to be applauding your manager as if it's... I mean, I realise that anybody but the Glazers is worth an applaud. Right? But the fact of the matter is, a manager that's been brought in after 30, 40 games and doesn't seem to be having any direction of travel that gives you any confidence, because there's nothing about what Amorim's done so far besides what he's done previously at Sporting that can give anybody anything to pin the tail on the donkey. And I look at it and say, well, Chelsea game comes up, City games, these games are what they are at this stage in United's evolution. But Sunderland, Brentford and other games...
Well, it's funny you say that, Simon, because next, Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then further down the line, Saturday the 27th of this month, they go to Brentford.
And then they got Sunderland, a promoted side, who are not going to roll over, who will not come up to the Premier League to be one of these Premier League fodder sides that are going to be accepted and relegated. They've got games on their hands and no one's frightened of Man United anymore. No one cares about going to Old Trafford and be worried about the Man United lustre and imagery and iconography. Yeah. It's all gone.
So and Rashford's over at Barcelona and they win 6-0 last night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah,
okay. But he did say that he needed a pre-season. He's been given that. He's now got time between games, probably too much time, but at least he can work on it. But we need to see improvements. So, Jim, these fixtures are immensely important for him. Was it 31 games, 16 defeats? You know, it's not great reading for any club. Never mind. We're talking about Manchester United here, and he's stripping the group of any real talent.
Yeah,
I don't think the squad looks good enough. And in fact, look, they'll stay up, Jim, but they ain't going to make any progress.
I mean,
honestly, it's that bad.
I always felt, in fairness to him, in the project that's in hand, and I hate to use the word project because it gives people a get out for being instantaneously able to make things different, which is what you're supposed to do to some extent. I always felt that if he's 15 games into this season and operating at the same sort of level of attainment he was getting last season, then the excuses would run out, or the opportunity to dazzle the media, or the opportunity to be someone that seems to be someone that you can really relate to because he says things that others won't. Oh, so what? We can all say things that others won't. It's about winning football matches.
Yeah.
And he is not winning football matches.
He's too long. Look at Thomas Frank going into Spurs, and who I was sitting here saying was perfect for them to go and get him. And they look magnificent right now.
Well, I mean, Manchester United fans listening this morning, the fact of the matter is this: Premier League record under Amorim. He's managed them 31 times in the Premier League and they've won 8. They've lost 16. So is it almost time up in your eyes? Do you think, it's gone as far as it should go, and maybe, for the best for the club, it would be best for the club that he goes now, and then you have a chance to see what someone else can do in the hot seat? Or are you seeing something that persuades you to think, nah, give him time yet?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.